What's up? Welcome, 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 welcome. we are here. We are here for the Night of the Union. Night of the Union. We have multiple. This is becoming, I'm sorry, most dramatic State of the Union night ever. Um, of course, we have, Trump's State of the Union is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern, so it's 8 Central here where I am. Um, we have the People's State of the Union, which will be at 7 um, or 8 Eastern, 7 Pacific, 7 Central. And then we have what has already been going on, which was not, I thought, supposed to start until 6:45, but apparently it was 5:45 or 6 o'clock. So it's already ran. So we're gonna watch through it, and that's the state of the swamp. This is a rebuttal to the State of the Union that where opposition figures, current and former elected officials, celebrities, and other leaders will gather to tell the truth and to counter Donald Trump's lies at the State of the Union. So that's what we're going to get started on. It's a full night. I'm going to be streaming for probably about 3 hours. So I hope you're ready. Buckle in, and because we're going to go through it all. We're going to check it all out. So I hope you are ready. Hope you're interested, and stick with me. You can come in and out. I don't expect you to stay around the whole 3 hours. That would be crazy. I'm the only crazy one to try to do that. And honestly, I'm probably going to take a break in between a little bit. I don't know. But we're gonna check them out. We're gonna check them out. So here we are. We have the state of the swamp. I don't know what the state of the swamp is really going to be. We're going to check it out. See what all went down, what's all going on there. And then, like I said, in 30 minutes, well, under 30 minutes now, we'll have the People's State of the Union, which I believe Shifty Shift is going to, I think, head up. It seems, kind of. We'll see what that's about. And then, of course, we have Trump's the State of the Union that we've already discussed. If I did a video today on the channel talking about my predictions. And of course, I do predict that it's pretty much just going to be a state of himself, which is what he does every single time he gets in front of the mic. But we'll see. We'll see. Because he'll talk about all his so-called accomplishments, which we've all debunked over and over and over and over and over again, are just flat out lies. But we'll see.
for charitable solutions. Civic Club.
Task Force. What we got here? Yeah, it was showing. There were people in the comments in the chat. In the chat that was saying that there was no audio at first. So that's not a good thing for them. They should have made sure, like me, made sure audio was working. Defiance.org. Yeah, I don't know what's this fast forward a little bit here. I'm sure they probably had some stuff going. It looks like it's in slow-mo. So I don't know what's that about. They apparently did not we have let's see here. All of this we have, I guess it's just like a reel of history that they planned on doing to begin with. Maybe this ran just for a little bit before they actually got the stuff going. Yeah. Hold on. How far do we get in here? Defiance loading, Defiance loading, Defiance loading. Defiance loading, Defiance loading. Here we go. Okay.
People in extraordinary moments could bend history towards something better. For 250 years we have been tested, and every time we have struggled. We have fought.
Here we go.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
And we have risen.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Because defiance is the engine of this country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I don't believe it. Here we go. Here's the slam.
The actual goat.
So then, how did we end up here?
Yeah, I said it. The actual goat.
Are you a U.S. citizen, sir? Why would I answer you?
Minneapolis police chief says a woman was killed after being shot in the head by an ICE agent.
A nation awake,
Thank you for the
led by a man who is not
heart.
a theater of noise.
Excuse me, I'm going to answer the question.
We're a superpower, and under President Trump,
A system that speaks in spectacle and answers to no one.
But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're
She was trying to ram this guy with her car.
I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats.
To defeat the swamp,
Stupid.
we must enter the swamp.
Oh.
Not as part
Frogs
of it,
together strong.
but as
Oh
the
yeah, I was
storm
seeing where
that
there's
floods
frog
it.
suits going to be for
From
this.
places power never looks, from voices it never counts.
DC sandwich guy. Acquitted.
Out of our city!
If you have a fucking blower, bring it up!
Where you from, Mr. Mills, with your big ass body? Come on, man. Look at you.
I
Hey,
remember
the
that.
famous guy.
We rise.
Organizers say at least 7 million Americans took to the streets.
People who refuse to sit down.
I will not
Hi.
stop now. I will not
Oh,
stop
this
ever.
is Courtney, huh?
Tool
Is
of
this
a
Courtney?
tyrant.
Hi, Mr. President.
So,
Awesome. Thank you for joining.
FCCU.
So if you stand for truth, I need you to stand up today!
I ain't backing down.
Eyes out.
Defiance built this country, Defiance freed it, and tonight, Defiance returns.
Stand up and defy. That's what we do here. That's what we do here on Clear Talk. We defy. Defy what is being told. Defy what's being said.
Hello, everybody!
Who is this?
Woo! Good evening!
here in the room, everyone on the live stream across America. I am Miles Taylor, the founder of Defiance.org.
Okay, nice to meet you. Is this? I don't feel like this is loud enough. Hold on. I'll just move it.
Welcome to State of the Swamp, the rebuttal to the State of the Union. If you don't know about us, I'm going to tell you quickly. We are a nonprofit civic club founded to answer one question. What can I do? Every single week, we announce an action to combat one of Donald Trump's abuses of power, whether that is supporting the whistleblowers, disclosing violations of the Constitution from inside this administration, whether that is suing Donald Trump all the way to the Supreme Court, whether that is standing with protesters in the streets and helping them know their rights to document agents violating the law, or as we announced last month, bringing together prosecutors to hold those agents accountable when they violate the law. I'm going to tell you something about our organization and our members. We're not doom scrollers. We're not whiners. We do. And this event tonight is called what it is because Donald Trump came to Washington on a promise. He promised he would drain the swamp, the corruption, and the grift.
He did.
And instead of draining the swamp, he turned America into the swamp. He expanded the swamp.
Yeah, he did.
But we thought, who better
he jumped in the swamp,
to help us navigate the swamp than a creature born in the swamp?
You know, backstrokes and butterfly strokes and everything. Like he's
the frogs.
He's probably pissing in the swamp too.
If you had your head buried in the sand last year, you might have missed that the symbol of defiance in the United States of America became the frog. Why? Because when Donald Trump looked into Portland, Oregon, and he said, the protesters are terrorists and insurrectionists, some brave people showed up at an ICE facility armed with inflatable frog costumes. They inflated. They danced to EDM music, and it was one of the greatest Emperor Has No Clothes moments we have ever seen in American history. I want to thank the Portland Frog Brigade for helping to co-host this event tonight. Thank you to the Portland Frog Brigade. I want to thank our live stream partner, Courier. I want to thank Task Force. I want to thank our new media partners, many of whom you follow on Substack. I want to thank Now This, and I especially want to thank ticket holders and members of Defiance.org in all 50 states and territories, by the way, for their courage and commitment. Thank you. I have got 3 quick things to say to Donald Trump tonight. The first one is this: my crowd is bigger than your crowd. And given what I know about how many Democratic members of Congress have boycotted the State of the Union tonight, that is a fact. And he is not going to like that there are more people on the floor here than there are going to be on the House floor of the House of Representatives. Second thing I want to tell Donald Trump: you tried to silence me. You tried to silence us, and you failed. Like a lot of people in this room, I stood up against that man. My family suffered the consequences. Twice I have lost jobs because of him. I have lost our savings because of him. I have lost our family's security. I have lost close friends. I'm not the only one who's been threatened. My wife has been threatened. My 18-month-old daughter. has been threatened. And you know what? That's how the President of the United States wanted it. He wanted to shut us up. He wanted to shut us up. And when we wouldn't shut up, he of course said, well, the reason we wouldn't shut up is because we're trying to make a buck. And I'll tell you what, it was really important that he said that because it showed me something I'd forgotten. That Donald Trump underestimates the opposition because he doesn't understand them. We are not like him. I am not like him. Donald Trump may be in this to make a buck, to take taxpayer dollars from you. But unlike Donald Trump, we can't be bribed. We can't be bought. We can't be bullied. And we will not barter our conscience for a better room in a skyscraper. And finally, let me say this. Donald Trump may have turned America into his personal swamp out there across the country, but we will be the ones to drain it. And I'm going to make you a promise tonight. Like dictators before him, his fake gold facade will fall. And the people in this room and across America will spend years removing his name and his legacy from buildings. We will remove his name from monuments. We will remove his name from government programs he has desecrated. And I will tell you this, at the end of all of that, in place of the faded words of Donald J. Trump on the facade of those buildings and facilities, we will put the words of the United States Constitution. So let me say this. Donald Trump did something he did not expect. He united us. Donald Trump united millions of Americans across this country who are now determined and who are now defiant. And tonight, at this event, you will not hear from him. You will hear from them. So let me first welcome to the stage someone who has been a vocal and strident defender of the United States Constitution and the First Amendment. Please welcome Zedio founder Mehdi Hasan.
Why? But we'll also ask number two, strong? Strong? Is a democracy strong when a secret police is murdering American citizens in the street in cold blood?
I have to do something about that.
Is a democracy strong when lawmakers are being indicted, journalists are being arrested, comedians are being pulled off the air? Is a democracy strong when judges are being threatened, their rulings ignored, their families are being mentioned? Because the truth is that the state of our union is not strong. It is weak. It is stressed. It is being stress tested right now by a man who declares himself a dictator, who has always believed that laws are for other people. For other people. A man who not just frustrates us, he angers us. And here's the thing, though. The fact that you are angry is a good thing.
Yeah.
The fact that you are alarmed at the state of our democracy is a good thing. The fact that you are here, watching, organizing, showing up, making noise is a good thing. Because apathy is what authoritarians rely on. Our silence is what they feed off of. They want you to look around at all the chaos and say, it's just too much. They want you to think nothing I do matters. They want you to believe that voting is pointless. It won't make a difference.
They want you to be scared.
But democracy is not a spectator
to do
sport.
anything.
It's a participation one.
They want you
Democracy
to be
is not something you have.
Of
it's something you do.
What they
it's something
will do
you
to
build
you if you do.
and rebuild again and again, time after time, generation after generation, tyrant after tyrant. You rebuild it. This country has faced dark times before. Slavery, segregation, McCarthyism. All of those things were defeated, not because America is immune to fascism or autocracy. It isn't. But because ordinary people, citizens, decided that they would not accept those things as natural or normal in this country. So tonight, when Trump gives his State of the Union, I want you to remember, his speech, God help us all, is not what matters. What matters is what happens after his speech. What matters
is what's happened before.
Do next. Remember, fascism is not destiny. It is a choice. It can be fought. It can be rejected.
Go to it.
But only if we reject it together.
Yeah.
And you know what gives me hope tonight?
Go into it, understanding and realizing everything that's happened.
There are more of us than there are of them.
Yes. There
are more of us than there are of them. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, America has been saved before, not by presidents, not by billionaires, not by kings, but by citizens. It will be saved again the exact same way. By you, by me, by we, the people. Thank you very much.
Good job, Hassan. Good job. One of the better people in Congress.
Next to the stage, former Homeland Security Advisor at the White House, Olivia Troy.
Olivia Troy. Okay, come on, hurry up.
I'm short. Here it is.
We might have to speed this up.
I defy blind loyalty to any one man. I defy fear as a governing strategy. And I defy the idea that patriotism belongs to any one party. I'm Olivia Troy. I did serve in the first Trump White House. I sat in the rooms where decisions were made, and I saw what happens when power stops serving the country and starts serving itself. So I walked away. Not because it was easy, but because integrity mattered more than my title. I knew there would be consequences, not just for me, but for my family. I was serving in his White House, and I stood up to him publicly. When too many chose comfort over courage, they still do that today. Because I knew what a second term would unleash. And now we're living.
All those rats that are running around him right now have talked shit about him in the past, and now they're kissing his ass.
This is not the America that I swore an oath to protect. Donald Trump demands loyalty to him. We, the people, demand loyalty to the Constitution.
Beats bouncing, man.
I stand here as the daughter of an all-American boy who grew up on a farm and became a truck driver, and a Mexican immigrant mother. Mama, gracias. Te amo. I have the American dream, and that promise is being broken now. While Republican leadership in Washington demands applause tonight, families like the one I grew up in are choosing between rent and groceries, working full-time and still falling behind. Immigrant families are living with real fear. Parents are afraid to take their children to school. Workers are afraid to show up at jobs they've held for years. Families are hurting. That's the real State of the Union, Donald Trump.
That's the real State of the Union. Agreed.
But let me be clear. We will not let fear control us. So here's my message to those Trump enablers sitting in the Capitol tonight. We are not your audience. We are your employers. And we will remind you of that at the ballot box.
Yeah.
I believe in ethics over ego. I believe the American dream is worth defending. And I'm asking all of you here in the audience tonight and at home to defend it with me. Not with violence, not with hatred, but with courage, like the courage that it takes to show up tonight. Keep showing up organized. Protect your neighbors. Refuse to be silent. And most of all, you've got this. You know this. Vote.
Yep. In
Because
person
fear
this year,
doesn't work
as
here.
much as
Not in our cities.
humanly
not in our
possible.
communities. Not in this country. I know millions of Americans are ready to stand with me.
This is not my
So when I
music,
say
by the way.
stand
This
up,
is theirs.
You say defy. Stand up. We stand up.
They
Let's
just did
defy
it.
together. Have a great night. Thank
Have a
you,
great
Portland
night.
Rock Brigade. You're awesome.
Yeah.
To my friend Miles Taylor, thank you for putting this together. See you all later.
All right. That was quick. I mean, I did speed it up a little bit. That was quick.
Please welcome to the stage Congressman Jason Crow, Democrat of Colorado.
Democrat of Colorado, Jason Crow. All right, see what you got to say.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. I will try.
Well, Donald Trump keeps on trying to put me in prison. A few weeks ago, he asked his political goons at DOJ to try to get a grand jury to indict me and Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin and our other fellow vets. They failed. They will always fail.
Was he one of the ones in the video? I think he may have been one of the ones in the video.
To defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It's a lifetime oath, and it never stops for me. But here's the thing, this wasn't about our video. This wasn't about us actually doing our job as members of Congress and reminding our service members of what their obligation and what their duty compels them to do. What it was Donald Trump trying to send a message to America. It wasn't about me, it wasn't about the video. The message that he was trying to send,
Do what I say
if you
and
step out of line,
yeah.
if you dare speak up, if you dare question authority, then we will come and we will crush you.
Yep. That
the
was
costs, the costs will be too high. Well, he failed to send that message.
it. Yep. Because
He
he
chose
did
the
not
wrong
win.
people, and he's been trying to send that message in other places, in Minneapolis, in Portland, in Denver, and he's failing everywhere. I'm pretty bad about sitting back in a foxhole and letting people just throw grenades at me and just taking it. So we are going to start imposing costs on them. I'm
Feel free
taking
to-
names.
Feel free to comment,
Justice and accountability
Share,
is coming. You cannot
like, all
hide
of this
behind
stuff.
your masks forever.
talk to me.
And
Let
if
me know
you
what
think you can operate with impunity, murder Americans, deport Americans, abuse our communities, violate the law, turn your back on the Constitution, accountability is coming.
Yep.
They think, Donald Trump thinks, that fear is contagious. He wants us to be afraid and he wants it to spread like wildfire.
I need to turn the music down just a
What is instead
but
more and more clear
whatever.
is that courage is more contagious. There are plenty of examples of cowardice in our country. CEOs bending the knee, law firms cowing, universities kissing the ring. But here's the thing. At great moments in our nation's history,
some of them.
and we've been up
There's
against
some
the ropes,
pushing back to the.
it's never been the elite and the privileged that have come to save us. Never has.
Sure as shit not.
And it's never their story. It's never the story of those who bow and cow and cower. It's always the people. Everyday Americans, the Alex Prettys, the Renee Goods, who gave their life to literally stand in the breach. The thousands of Minnesotans who at,
Out in
who
the
at great
fucking
risk,
freezing
who at great
cold.
risk stood on the line and documented and filmed and took pictures so that the rest of the world in America could see the abuses and what was happening.
It is over.
They are the
Prime
ones.
Video.
We are the ones.
I mean, it's dope, but as
We will continue to stand up.
as John Barron
The
said
tide is
today,
turning
it's
in
dope.
America.
No, I'm sorry. He said it. He said
Courage
Jeffries was a dope,
is
but whatever.
contagious. Don't give
Good
up the
evening,
ship.
everyone.
And he is a dope. I did have to agree with that one, but
I'm Katie Bethel, and I'm the executive director of Move On. Move On is one of the largest progressive advocacy
And now, a
organizations
video
in the
message
country.
from
We're a
congressional
force of
candidate
millions
George
with
Conway.
members in every congressional district in America. And on behalf of our
hell?
members and our
He's not present.
co-hosts,
Okay, the
the
world-
Midas
Back that
Touch
out.
Network, it is my
This isn't normal.
privilege to
And we
welcome
can't let that
you
loser,
to the
Donald Trump,
People's
get away.
State of the Union.
So get up, speak out.
oh, I'm sorry.
Let them
That's
lie. Call out this.
that's the other video.
Some of you
Shit.
may know that giving a
Okay, my bad. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, why is that playing? Holy, I had this in the background waiting for it to start up. Okay. All right, they just started. Or got that paused. Okay. I'm so sorry. All right, no. All right, here we go. Sheesh. I was like, what in the world is going on? That one was my bad. Okay.
And now a video message from congressional candidate George Conway.
Did I
We
miss
have a
it?
criminal in the White House, a wannabe dictator who wants this country run just for him and to screw everyone else. He's not president. He's a deranged
George
narcissist steamrolling our
Conway,
democracy.
lawyer.
This isn't normal, and we can't let that loser, Donald Trump, get away with it. So get up, speak out, and vote. Don't let them lie to you. Call out this administration for the grifters they are every chance you get. And don't let him bully you. He thrives on fear because he doesn't want us to know how weak, dumb, and sad of a little man he really is. Don't give up. We'll win this.
I mean,
and we'll
he's
impeach
right,
him
but-
and anyone else complicit in destroying our democracy. And we'll make America normal again.
Okay. He's right.
Please welcome to the stage a panel on the fight for the First Amendment led by moderator Jim Acosta, host of The Jim Acosta Show, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer,
That seemed a bit pointless.
award-winning journalist Terry Moran, and civil rights leader, best-selling author, and Committee for the First Amendment co-chair
It's like-
Rashad
To some degree,
Robinson.
it's like they're just throwing a bunch of people, as many as they can, out
My
here,
goodness.
and that's
This is
okay, I guess.
incredible.
But
Why did I not get frog ears or frog eye?
we
You
need
know, thank you very much. I
ridiculousness.
appreciate that.
We need more ridiculousness.
Why not? You know what? As a wise man once said, we'll do it live. Welcome to the National Press Club. It has not been renamed
Craziness.
the Trump National Press Club,
A little fun.
and it never fucking will. And for those of you who watch my show, you know I say the F word all the time, so we just say fuck it, right? If we're not going to say fuck in a time like this, when are we going to say it, ladies and gentlemen? That is my
When
position,
the fucking
and I think it
time
makes a
is
lot
to
of
say it.
sense. We have an esteemed panel joining us this evening to talk
Except
about this
for a
fight for the
mic
First
get
Amendment. That was one of the very
knocked
first
off
things
the
that Trump went
platform.
after
I
in
don't
Trump
know.
1.0,
We'll
and he,
see.
of course, went after it again the second time around. But we got a great panel. Let's have everybody introduce themselves, starting with you, Rashad, and then we'll go down the line here.
Hey everyone, I love this energy. I'm Rashad Robinson. I'm a civil rights leader, and I am the co-chair of the Committee for the First Amendment, working to protect the First Amendment all around the country, moving artists and activists to stand up.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
And I'm Terry Moran. I'm an independent journalist.
Yeah, we've seen you before.
I am Matt Meyer, governor of the first state, and there are more frogs in this room than there are people in my state. Thank you.
Very good.
Okay.
We love the first state. There was a whole thing. We would go get the beer. Could we get the beer on Sundays, or you couldn't get the beer on Sundays?
Get the beer on Sunday any day.
That was
24/7.
oh, very good.
Now
Okay.
24/7.
I remember that being a DC kid going to the beach. Anyway, I digress. We've got important things to talk about. Governor, let me start with you first. You have not been governor of Delaware for very long, but one of the very first things that you did was stand up for the First Amendment, stand up for the free press. And tell us about that.
That's right. Two of the first bills I signed were making sure you cannot ban books in our great state of Delaware.
Okay.
And the second thing was making sure slap lawsuits. There were these lawsuits where people try to misuse the First Amendment to prevent people from letting their voice be heard, and we're not going to have any of that in our first state.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
More broadly, what I'd say is what I'm seeing with the First Amendment, but not just the First Amendment, across our community in Delaware and across the country, is that billionaires are taking control. That we have a president who has used the worst of Citizens United to put this country at the disposal of a very few people, very few privileged people who want a country that's very, very different from what you and I want. And they're controlling the media. They're controlling what the citizens of Delaware see and hear and understand. They're controlling what each of you understand. And tonight in the State of the Union, I think we're going to see more of that, of media manipulation, information manipulation. I so appreciate events like this where people are standing up and saying, we the people are stronger than these few. We need to fight to win our country. We are winning. Look at the numbers. We are winning. Thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you, Governor. And I can see the sign that says damn straight right over your head there. So it reminds me a little bit of another Delawarean back in the day who might have been down the street, and if only he were still there. But anyway, Terry Moran, independent journalist. Terry was being modest, a longtime ABC News correspondent, White House correspondent, Supreme Court reporter. Terry's one of the best in the business. And, you know, Terry, you were ahead of the curve in one very big way. For those of you who don't remember, Terry put out a tweet about Stephen Miller. And it made a lot of news and pissed off some corporate overlords at ABC. Terry, talk about that, why that was important, because to me, that was a sneak preview of coming attractions. Look what has happened with respect to Terry. Yeah, look what has happened with the effect that Stephen Miller has had on this country.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the effect. ICE in Minnesota, the detention centers, which I want to talk more about. But Terry, tell us about that moment, why you did it, and what do you think it means going forward?
Well, I wrote it because I thought it was true.
There you go.
And you know, that is actually why it's become a big deal. It's become a big deal in my life. It got me fired. But it's become a big deal in some ways, which is odd. And I will say there was nothing planned about it, although I will also add, because it was posted at 5 minutes after midnight, some people say it was not a drunk tweet. I promise. What it was a very sober. What it was, in fact, I was quite proud of it in many ways. Still am. Yeah. What it was something that had been, you know, I'd been reporting on this administration, interviewed the president, had a good time with that, and then over the course of days and weeks, it was just gnawing at me, fretting, right, tossing and turning about our country and what's happening to it. And I was out walking the dog, so I'm blaming the dog for this. And I just said, that effing guy, because I'm not going to drop that.
I'm sorry, yeah.
I can't. It's my dear mother in heaven. But it started, it was in the middle of the afternoon. I was pondering it, and then, you know, we had dinner and watched, what was it? We watched some movies, a George Clooney movie, so I'm blaming George Clooney as well.
Good night and good luck, maybe, or something.
No, that's what everybody says. Did you go see the play, and were you inspired? No, it was, the kids had never seen it. I can't remember. Anyway, Ocean's 11. That's what it was, which is a great family movie, but if you want to keep your job, don't watch it. Anyway, so I we got into bed, and as one does, is on the phone, and I kind of had come up with something in my head, and I posted it. I thought, okay. And just before I hit send, actually, I thought to myself, this is hot. This is, you know, hard language. But then I thought, it's a description. I thought this is a description of the public man that we see every day that is just horrifying as an American public official. Yes, and it was, I guess, getting to me. Anyway, the next morning, you got to take that down, da-da-da-da-da. I will say this, the White House made clear that if I wasn't fired, all right, I'm telling a tale out of school here, ABC News was like, you're going to be on a 2-week suspension if we can keep it to that, but it's going to the West Coast. And this is the only reason I mention that, because that's the corporate pressure on Disney. And then I knew it was done at that point. But here's what I learned from it. Now that I'm in independent media, where so much is happening, I love it. The First Amendment isn't, a statement of law. It isn't even a commitment to law. It is a practice, and we have to practice it because we can't count on a lot of institutions to do it for us.
That's right, and that's what tonight is all about in many ways. I mean, you know, we're here guarding the First Amendment right here, all of you with us tonight. You're defending it. You're on the front lines, and all of you who supported us tonight. Thank you. Yeah, give yourself a round of applause. It means a lot. Even the frogs. The frogs. Especially the frogs. And Rashad, tell us about how you've been on the front lines of this battle for the First Amendment in this country. And you've been working with somebody who I think the audience might know something about. Tell us about that.
Well, the Committee for the First Amendment is a project that was founded or refounded by Jane Fonda, whose father was part of the original Committee for the First Amendment. And it includes over 3,000 artists and celebrities who are working to use their power to help more people recognize what's at stake and also to challenge their own industry about what is happening, both the consolidation of media, the ways in which corporations are engaged. But let me be clear about what's happening. As someone who has led the largest boycott in American history, which was the $7 billion boycott against Facebook, because of the ways in which their algorithms and the ways in which their corporate profits put us in harm's way, is that corporations every single day are trying to make us believe that the inequality that we see in the world is unfortunate rather than unjust. And the ways in which they're trying to make us feel like it's unfortunate rather than just is because they want us to ask for charitable solutions to structural problems. They want us to be able to say that we send water bottles to communities that don't have clean water instead of cleaning the pipes. We do after-school programs instead of actually dealing with the inequality in public education. And along the way, they want to take away our voice in the process. But what I've understood every single day is that we will always lose in the back rooms if we don't have people lined up at the front door. And so our work today and our work moving forward is to be able to raise our voices in very clear ways and to hold the enablers accountable and to say that you cannot come for our money by day and try to take away our vote by night, try to make us unsafe by night, try to make it harder for us to be able to get health care and all of the other things we deserve. So our First Amendment is why I get to sit here today. But I also want us to recognize that part of this work is recognizing that there is no time machine that we should be trying to get in and go backwards. I am a black gay civil rights leader, and besides besides like clothes and music, there's no time in the past that I want to go back to. I don't want to get out of that time machine and see how things are working.
Yeah.
So our work today is also about what do we do together to build the future that we all
MAGA
deserve,
itself
a future
doesn't
that
make
we
any
actually
sense.
haven't ever experienced. That is going to be
America's
the
never
work
been
about coming
great.
together and facing those
I
that
don't know how many
stand in
times
our
it's gotta
way.
be said.
And that is the work that we have to do to move forward.
There you go.
America could be great.
And Governor,
It's never been great.
Governor, one of the things that Rashad just said that I want to pick up on, he said a lot that I want to pick up on, but
Or at least not
he's
the
talking
idea that
about
I
our
would
vote.
think of great.
Our vote is our voice. It is an expression of our freedom of speech, freedom of thought. And right now, Donald Trump, I think, is trying to damage that. He's trying to pull a fast one with this SAVE Act or Save America Act. It's got they give it a different name every week because they're trying to pull a fast one. And they want to. He says, oh, it's just voter ID. You know, what's the big deal with voter ID? Putting that to the side, tucked in that legislation is a provision that would basically hand over state voter rolls to the Department of Homeland Security. Not that he would do anything nefarious with that. Oh, of course not. But Governor, what are your thoughts on all of that?
I have a mentor, not in politics, just in life, who shortly after I was a public school teacher, ran for county office. He sat me down and he said, "You have that," and we can all think of people who have lost that. Our president has lost the credibility of the American people, and so when he stands up and says something like the save, do you think someone who led us into January 6th is looking to save our votes? He has no credibility. And so you can look at the passport requirements and birth certificate requirements and the hints that ICE is coming to polling places near you. And we all need to stand up. I'm going to do my part as governor of Delaware. I've spent a few days in D.C. with Democratic and even a few Republican colleagues who are raising their hands saying they're going to stand up and do their part. But we also need you to do your part. Let's stand up to this nonsense.
Yeah,
this is not who we are.
That's right. And Terry, another thing that Rashad mentioned, and Rashad, I feel like you're doing a better job than myself moderating this, but you brought up the power of the boycott. There was a time, Terry, when it was sort of conventional wisdom, oh, boycotts don't make a difference. What can you do? Look what happened with ABC and Disney. When they tried to silence Jimmy Kimmel, they tried to silence him. People started canceling their Disney Plus. All of a sudden, they got some religion over there in Hollywood.
Yeah, absolutely. Religion meaning money.
Yeah.
But also, you're on something,
Mighty dollar.
which is that Trump is modeling himself, in particular after this guy Viktor Orban in Hungary, right? And before him, Putin. And there's a game plan, right? We're seeing it in operation right now. Orban and before him, Putin and the Law and Justice Party in Poland did it. They strip the media assets, or they get their cronies to buy them, and there is all of a sudden no dissent. But today, that won't work in America because we're all over the media, right? I mean, there's not just 3 networks. When I was a kid, I always wondered, and when I got to ABC, I still wondered, why do all 3 networks tell the exact same story in the exact same way, in the exact same order, every single night? It's a big world, right? That is no longer the case. And so I think this kind of event, which Miles helped organize for Defiance, and this is something that they will have a very big, hard time stopping.
I agree, totally. And just today, Terry, they were talking. I mean, it's in the news that Warner Brothers Discovery might try to sell off to Paramount. That their bid is looking better, which would give the Ellisons control over CBS potentially and CNN. And as I've said at other events, if I were in charge of CNN, I would fire Scott Jennings. I would fire his ass immediately. Does anybody here want Scott Jennings doing the evening news on 2 different networks? Give me a break, Jesus. Rashad, last thought from you before we go. Are you hopeful in all of this? This is a big year.
I have to be an optimist. The progress can only be achieved if we believe something bigger is possible. And I think the message I want to leave everyone here with is that we cannot mistake the presence and the awareness that people have for actual change. Presence is only a piece. We have to build power. And power is about challenging the institutions that stand in our way, but most of all, power is about our ability to actually change the rules. It's the written rules and it's the unwritten rules. And so I think for any one of you and every single day, 5, 10, 15 years from now, we're going to look back at this moment and we're going to have to be accountable for what we did and how we showed up. And the story that we get to write right now is a story that we either get to be the protagonist or we get to be a bystander. And so talk to the people in your communities, invite the people in your networks, show up in your listservs, show up on your WhatsApp chats, show up to your family conversations, but show up every single day and engage people. Our ability to look back at this moment and tell the story about what we did to change what's happening starts now. Let's do it.
All right. And on that note, I will just I'll just close this out because we're over time. I'll close it out with the message that I left when I departed my old place, as I call it now, when I left the anchor desk and jumped into independent media. And I think it still holds today, and that is do not give in to the lies. We're going to hear a lot of lies tonight. Don't give in to the lies. There's a lot of fear these days. Look what's happening across this country with these detention camps, what's happening in Minnesota and ICE. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and hold on to hope.
And fuck ICE.
And fuck ICE.
Fuck
thanks
ICE.
for joining us.
A big round of applause for Jim Acosta, Rashad Robinson, Terry Moran, and Delaware Governor Matt,
here.
and to the contrary Substack newsletter writer Charlie Sykes.
Were you watching Stephen Colbert the other night when he called out the craven cowards of CBS and gave a huge middle finger to Trump's FCC? My friends, this is how you do it. You lean in, expose them, defy them, never back down. Look, you're all here tonight because you recognize that this is the fight of our lifetimes, the challenge of our generation. Because if we get this right, we can save the American experiment. But that requires clear heads and brave hearts. Donald Trump wants you to believe that resistance is futile, that MAGA is unstoppable. But it is not. In fact, it's waiting its turn in the trash bin of history. So let's put it there. What should we do? Never accept that what's happening is normal. Have the moral courage to do what's right. Don't be afraid to call fascism by its proper name. And always remember, amid all of the cruelty and the insanity, that you are not the crazy ones. Thank you.
All right. Move along. Who's this guy?
Travel back with me to 2009, back when BlackBerries were cool. We would print MapQuest directions for road trips, and Donald Trump was still recovering from his most recent bankruptcy. I was working in the White House for my law school classmate and friend Barack Obama as the ethics czar. Shortly after taking office, President Obama prepared to deliver his first joint address to Congress. The state of the unhinged. Whatever you call it, it's unacceptable. But here's what is acceptable. Fighting peacefully, lawfully, and vigorously for our democracy, like we do at my organization, Democracy Defenders Fund, and our sister organization, Democracy Defenders Act. And in the court of public opinion, we fight through the contrarian.
The frogs are dancing so fast because I've got it sped up, but it's funny.
In fact, Miles Taylor, who introduced me, is one of our clients. We have fought Trump's attempts to end birthright citizenship. We've challenged ICE's horrific abuses of power and the votes of Californians. And we, on behalf of conservatives, representing every Republican administration from Nixon to Trump 1, filed briefs opposing Donald Trump's illegal tariffs that were just struck down by the Supreme Court.
Yep.
We do that with our wonderful partners you're going to hear from and meet many of them shortly. Our coalition, as you'll see, won't rest. We aren't deterred, and we won't stop as long as these threats persist. Just yesterday, we launched our latest initiative to expose Donald Trump's crypto corruption.
All right.
We will not let him and his cronies get away with it. Our democracy coalition won't let them get away with it. Just look around this room. Look at what we've been able to accomplish together in just the past year. Inflatable frogs and inflatable lawyers.
Okay,
the fight goes on,
You're
and I'm so proud.
All right, let's go.
I defy the idea that cruelty makes a country strong. Tonight, there's going to be a lot of talk about strength. Strong borders. Strong leaders.
FBI special agent.
Strong America. But I'm here to say, as someone who spent years enforcing the laws of this country, there is nothing strong about abandoning the rule of law. Because it gets lost. The rule of law only survives if ordinary people have moral courage. Not dramatic courage, not movie scene courage, the everyday kind of courage. The courage to say, "Bull," as fully human.
Trump speaks slow as it is, so I'll have that sped up too.
And here's the part that I want us to sit with tonight.
So that it won't take so long.
The root of moral courage is empathy. Do you know what Elon Musk said? Empathy is what stops us from treating people as enemies instead of neighbors. Empathy is what stops the law from becoming a weapon. Empathy is what reminds us that power exists to protect the vulnerable, not to punish them. And let me let you in on a secret. You know who knows this better than anyone? Authoritarians. They know that if they drain empathy from a society, they can hollow it out from the inside. So they tell us to fear one another. They tell us some people don't belong. They tell us that cruelty is strength. But cruelty is not strength. Cruelty is what happens when empathy disappears, and when empathy disappears, the rule of law is next. I've seen this up close. The most dangerous moments are not when laws are broken loudly. It's when they're bent quietly, justified politely, and obeyed without question. History teaches us again and again the greatest harms are not carried out by monsters, they are carried out by regular. It's choosing empathy when obedience would be easier. It's choosing principle when silence would be safer. Empathy is courageous, courage is courageous, and democracy is courageous. Stand up.
And now a word from district attorneys across America.
Are we in Germany?
He said he doesn't have to show a warrant.
How can I relax you to tell my neighbor?
You raise your voice, I raise your voice. I've had enough.
Enough with the warrantless arrests.
Enough with the illegal home entry.
Enough with the violent assault.
Federal officers do not
FAFO.
have absolute immunity.
They do not have permission to break the law. And they do not have the right to violate your constitutional rights.
And they certainly do not have the unchecked power
To deprive you of your life and liberty. I am a prosecutor.
I am a district attorney.
I'm a prosecutor.
I am a district attorney. I am a district attorney.
I am a prosecutor.
And we're coming together from around the country.
To fight against federal overreach.
FAFO will not tolerate these abuses of power. We will work together to make sure federal officers
Uphold the law in our state and city.
where federal officers break the law, they will be prosecuted. No one.
No one. No one.
No one is above the law.
Learn more about us at federaloverreach.org.
You've had enough, and we hear you.
Federaloverreach.org. FAFO. Well, there you go. That's the one thing that I'd say that has probably been the best at pushing back
That,
on
by the
Trump.
way, is an
is
organization
the judicial
that
system
was
right
started by Defiance.org.
now.
Next up, I want you
The
to welcome
judicial
to the
system has
stage a
been the
group of
best thing to
speakers
push back on
focused
Trump.
on the
I mean,
power
there
of
have
the
been
people,
some
starting
that,
with Congresswoman
you know, have
Maxine
given
Dexter,
in, but
Democrat of Oregon, along with the
most
Portland Frog
have
Brigade.
pushed back, and it's been great to see, especially when Congress wasn't really doing it, and there wasn't any other real pushback. But
This is amazing. Keep moving down, folks. Let's keep moving down. Let's make room, make room. Come on up. Okay. I will get it. Sorry. Good evening. I am Maxine Dexter. Really proud to be here tonight with you.
Maxine Dexter.
And I think you can see. Thank you.
I've seen
I
her
love
before.
you.
Where's she from?
I'm a mother. I'm a physician, and I have a flag.
Or at least I thought
And I
I'd
am the
seen her
proud
before.
representative for Oregon's 3rd Congressional District. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Okay.
And tonight, I defy Trump and his authoritarian project by standing in joyful, radical, peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade.
Okay. The frogs.
All right.
I'm sorry. It's
When Donald
funnier.
Trump said Portland
It's
was a
more
war zone.
interesting at high
When he tried to
speed.
send in federal troops. Boo. When he tried to scare America into submission. Portland answered. To cower in fear.
Democrat from Oregon.
And today,
Okay, Maxine
there's
Dexter.
no federal takeover of Portland. That's right. That's right. National Guard troops have been sent home where they belong. Because joy is resistance.
Although I still don't feel like
Creativity is
Trump's
resistance.
sexual state of the union will be that
Community
interesting,
is
even in high
resistance.
speed.
And our movement is filled with people
That's what
who
Trump
refuse
needs, some frogs behind
to
him.
sit down, to shut up,
Then
or
maybe
even
he'll
to
be
stop riveting. Yes.
Oh, shit.
So let me ask you, are you tired of being lied to?
Fuck yeah.
Are you tired of billionaires running the show?
It's the one thing I've
Are you tired
been
of watching
kind of my
democracy
thing
get
this
sold
whole
off
week
piece
is
by piece?
the fucking
Hell yeah.
lies.
Okay,
Sick and
so
tired of them.
then I want you to get loud. Thank you. When I say stay, you say loud. Stay.
Loud.
Stay.
Loud.
Stay.
Loud.
Amazing. That is amazing. Okay. So I'm going to transition here for a second because, this is about our country. And our country has never been perfect. But every time we've had the courage to fight, we've emerged stronger and more prosperous. That struggle is what makes our country worth believing in. It is because this country chose to invest in our communities. They invested in well-funded public schools, excellent transit, union jobs, and affordable higher education, at least where I grew up in the Northwest. I was able to achieve an American dream and build a better life than my parents. And I still believe that path is available to our children, to our generations, but they are not seeing it right now. We can build something better. We can build a country where the economy works for working people, where people have access to affordable, comprehensive health care, where we treat the climate crisis like the existential threat it actually is.
and where we
Ava
defend our
Belair, thank
democracy
you for
for our
joining.
children and our grandchildren. So let's build this world together. It's fueled by joyful resistance, and the Portland Frog Brigade. Give it up for the frogs.
Ribbit! Ribbit!
Please welcome to the stage Emmy-nominated storyteller, comedian, and Substack
I need
writer
a fucking
Baratunde
frog hat
Thurston.
now. I'm about to give me a frog hat. Shit.
I am so honored to be able to follow the Frog Brigade. Yes. Stand up. Y'all already forgot. There you go. There you go. I defy the lie that we are powerless.
Uh-huh.
I want to welcome you with a happy Black History Month. I see you.
Yeah.
My name is Baratunde Thurston. I am a son and grandson of Washington, D.C. Chocolate City,
Okay.
or a more caramel flavor these days, dripping in gold temporarily. Temporarily. I saw my 100-year-old grandmother earlier today. She said something really profound. She said, and I quote, "The electric slide is made for me." At 100-year-old, she still wants to dance from her wheelchair. And that spirit, that energy, that defiance, that insistence on joy is the energy and the spirit and the defiance we need right now. Because, y'all,
Marianne
we are
Wilson,
we're in a battle of stories. All right, on the one hand, you got a story we're being told that we're powerless, that only the people who are currently abusing power have the right to wield it, that some people are worth more than other people. Boo indeed. But there's another story unfolding. There is a story where citizen is a verb, where democracy is something we do, not just something we have, and where we all live into the truth of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. We need each other. We have seen all this on display in the great state of Minnesota. Yes, this administration sent its undertrained, overarmed, unconstitutional thugs wearing hokas, and people held it down for each other. We saw that beauty. Parents with whistles looking out for schools. Peaceful people documenting human rights abuses. I saw a crowd of people throwing dildos at ICE. That's my favorite. Dildos at ICE. Look, when you cosplay Call of Duty, to take on a daycare center, you might need an extra pair. Thank you for that. James Baldwin wrote to Angela Davis saying, "For if they take you in the morning, they will come for me that night." That is the spirit we have seen in LA, in DC, in Portland, in the Twin Cities, and in Chicago, and in so many other places across this country. An old story is dying. Reluctantly and awkwardly, cringing and binge drinking in a locker room in Milan instead of locking up the criminals on the Epstein list. But a new story is being born.
Yeah.
Of mutual aid, of teaching history, even and especially from banned books. Of standing for people and planet and recognizing there's no separation between either of those two things. We are here in our 250th year, y'all. The season of hate and domination is over. The season of love and interdependence is upon us. I close with the words of Lauryn Hill in this cold, sometimes dark winter. After winter must come spring. Let's get ready for it together. Thank you very much. Love y'all.
Awesome.
And now, a video message from best-selling author and former presidential candidate Marianne Williamson.
What you got, Miriam?
Hi. The president is going to give his State of the Union tonight. He's going to tell us how he sees the Union, as well as in his view of what agenda should take us forward. Many of us see him and his administration, his words and his actions, as detrimental to our democracy, even an active assault upon it. And while he took an oath to the Constitution, we might not have taken an official oath, but we feel it in our hearts. So we're going to stand for our Constitution. We are going to stand for the principles on which we purport to stand. The equality of all people, the right of all people to actualize their own God-given potential without interference by dictators or tyrants. So I hope you'll join us here on Defiance.org. We're going to lay down some truths, certainly as we see it. And I think the momentum by which so many Americans are going forward, seeking to heal this country, will be increased. See you later.
All right. Thank you, Miriam.
Welcome to the stage for a panel discussion on America at 250. Will we survive? Moderated by the Left Hook publisher, Wajahat Ali.
And
Senator John Tester from Montana.
I
Seneca Project founder Tara
Setmeyer.
Setmeyer. And Justice Matters host
Did the best she
Glenn
could
Kirsten.
in a really bad situation as far as the 24 election season, but
Conspiracy. Hello. How's everyone doing?
it
People,
eventually
to quote
fell
the late,
apart.
great Bernie Mac, I'm not here for any foolishness. I did not drive all the way from Alexandria in my Honda Odyssey minivan for such a pathetic response. When I ask you how you're doing, I want to hear from a living, breathing audience of people who are committed to defending this thing called democracy and to resist this rapist vulgarian named Donald Trump. How are you doing?
Woo!
So, all right. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you all for coming.
Respect to the frogs. Give it up to the frogs. All right. Big question. Will America survive to 250? We're almost there. It's an inshallah. We're stumbling there, and we have this august panel to discuss this very important question in 15 minutes. All of them are filibusterers. So let's hope that we can, inshallah, have some pithy comments. But we're gonna get to it. First and foremost, Senator Jon Tester. Don't kiss up to him. Don't kiss up to him. Just calm down. All right. From the great state of Montana.
Great crowd. Great crowd.
All right. Now, you believed in bipartisanship. You believe in a good time when Congress could do its job, where elected officials had a duty to the Constitution, where these people need to actually fulfill their oaths and keep people in check. However, the question I have for you, how do we get to 250 when one of the two parties are now reeks to a right-wing authoritarian, where Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz live in the anus of Donald Trump, and too soon? Or not soon enough? And if I may, many Democrats believe that the Democratic Party, I'm using their words, are spineless, feckless, weak, and cowardly.
Yeah.
How do we get to 250 when a Congress is not doing its job?
With groups like this, that's how. Let me tell you what. This country has always been about we the people. And when folks stand up and make sure their voices are heard, people change. I believe in bipartisanship. And I think there's one bipartisan thing that Congress needs to do right after the election next year when Democrats take over the House and the Senate, and that's impeach the son of a bitch. What? And guess what?
I like him already.
Last time I checked, it has to be done in a bipartisan way. So they ought to get after it and get her done. Let me tell you something. I come from rural America. Rural America voted for Donald Trump, and what this guy's done to rural America is absolutely, unequivocally unacceptable. What he's done to the markets for our farmers, what he's done to our healthcare system, what he's done to housing, what he's done to man, oh man, more things than I got fingers on my hand to count them. By the way, Congress has been asleep at the wheel for 13 months. But the only thing that I know that Congress can do to hold the executive branch accountable is they need to get a hold of some folks, just like they did back in Nixon's time, and say, well, do we have enough votes to impeach this dude? Because they should. And then they walk into the White House and say, guess what? You're going to hit the road, Jack.
I'm going to ask you a quick follow-up. Democrats right now have the lowest favorability rating in 3 decades. I heard you. What would you want Democrats to do in this moment to regain the trust of people so that inshallah we can get to 250?
Well, I mean, the truth is they need to start challenging the administration on everything that's out there, and some of them have been. But the bottom line, they need to. And they need to start talking about issues that people talk about at their kitchen table, because they're not. And they need to. Starting with affordability. Starting with making sure that businesses out there got a shot, and working families got a shot, and family farming got a shot. They need to talk about the issues that are important in this country. They've forgotten about that.
Fuck, what's his name?
I would say maybe even tax the billionaires. Just throwing it out there. That's just me. That's me. Tara, give it up for Tara Sedmeyer.
Leader of the minority.
Tara, we are limping towards 250. Senate. Inshallah, will we get there? How do we get there when it seems like in the past 10 years, every institution has capitulated to Donald Trump? Whether it's corporate law firms, whether it's corporate media, whether it's our titans of industry. In the front row, Tim Apple and others. How do we get there when our institutions are failing us?
Well, if we all remember that this country was founded on we the people, not corporations. So the way that you get there is you hold the bastards accountable. Period. You know, we are in an inflection moment in this country where we have to make a decision of whether we're going to stand up or stand by. And there is no time for people to be lukewarm about where they stand. And the more that we are looking at what's happening, and if you feel as though you want America to celebrate its 250th birthday and for this democracy to make it, then it's up to us. Democracy doesn't defend itself. We are responsible for that. So institutions don't defend themselves. We are the ones that make sure those institutions are still standing. So I think it's important for people to understand that we still do have the power. Doesn't matter whether Donald Trump tries to flood the zone and tries to, do things to make us feel as though we are helpless or hopeless and he's going to do what he wants to do. We have to say, not no, but hell no. And it starts with things like this. When we gather, you build community. We do the No Kings protests. You hold Democrats accountable also. You can't have a resistance that's scared to be a resistance, right?
Exactly.
So the way that people who are elected officials respond is that they have to be reminded who they work for. Just like Donald Trump and that administration works for us, so do the Democrats. So if you have people that you feel are not standing up and fighting the way you want them to, then you need to say, either you're going to fight and stand up, or we're voting your ass out. We'll find someone who will. That's how we make it. It is up to every one of us. And I think the more that Americans realize that, the more that we will coalesce around beating back this fascist movement and embracing our democracy. It's going to take our freedoms from us, only if we let them. And I say no, not no, but hell no.
Not no, but hell no.
This crowd seems very, this seems like a very centrist crowd, filled with many milquetoast moderates. No, I kid. For those who believe they can play footsie, I love you too. You have exquisite taste. Tara, for those who want to play footsie with fascism, for those who think you can play prevent defense, for those who think you can still negotiate your way out of this, we were talking backstage, and you appreciate my analogy of smash mouth football. Right. You were a former Republican, and Republicans are known to play a bit dirty. But for those who still think after 10 years, you can kind of wiggle your way through centrism, your response?
Well, listen, I think you have to play the game that you're in. And yes, that's true that Republicans know how to play tougher in the past. Now it's dirtier. But you have to be careful you don't become what you despise. I think that is a very important principle in this fight. Do not become what you despise. It's very easy to get lured into that, but you cannot. But we have the benefit of having the truth on our side. We have the benefit of having the constitutional principles that this country was founded on our side. So
morality
we need to weaponize that
on our side
in the way that our truth is our sword. And so
honesty,
I think that when
compassion,
people see that, you cannot, as I often say, as a football fan, New York Giants, yes,
on
Big
our
Blue
side.
Wrecking Crew, defense may win championships, but offense wins elections.
There you go.
And Democrats need to understand that. It's offense all the time. Put the Republicans on defense, because if they're explaining they're losing, and last time I checked, it's very difficult to explain away how Donald Trump has betrayed veterans, farmers, the middle class, rural America, and virtually anyone who's not a white Christian male. He's betrayed all of them. And for women who are out there thinking, well, Donald Trump, listen, he's taken rights from us. These people do not care. They want to make all of us subservient to their agenda. So you cannot negotiate with fascism. You cannot. There is no lukewarm defending democracy. And the sooner that Democrats get that and go on offense, the sooner we can not only win, but vanquish MAGA to the ash heap of history where they belong.
Exactly.
Fascists come for everyone at the end, even fellow fascists. Give it up for Glenn Kirshner, everyone.
Glenn Kirshner. Really
give it up for Glenn
lawyer.
Kirshner's muscles. Glenn secretly is very happy that I noticed that. Glenn, I think one of the enduring sins of the Biden administration, he did many good things, he did some terrible things, Gaza being one of them, the Gaza policy. The other one, Merrick Garland. How do we avoid the Merrick Garlanding on our path towards accountability? Because we won't make it unless there is a reckoning, sir.
So with accountability, all things are possible. Without accountability, we get right where we are right now in the midst of this Donald Trump-induced darkness. But do you know, and I want to talk about accountability, do you know we the people won a significant victory today? Did you see the recording? Anybody know what I'm talking about?
After their actual State
Trump
of the
flunky
Union.
Janine Pirro, who is, God help us, the U.S. attorney at my beloved home for decades, the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office. See, I get Justice Goosebumps. I got to stand up. Today, she said, you know what? I think I'm going to stop trying to prosecute the innocent. I think I'm no longer going to try to indict 6 members of Congress who committed no crime. All they did, take it from this old Army jag, is they opened the Uniform Code of Military Justice and they read military law. That military members must disobey unlawful orders.
Exactly.
You know, there's a difference between failure and defeat. Failure is Donald Trump's health. Failure is Donald Trump's mental faculties. Donald Trump is failing, but we are defeating Donald Trump's dirty DOJ leadership. And when I say we, you know why Janine Pirro today said, okay, maybe I'm going to stop trying to prosecute the innocent? Because grand juries sitting as the conscience of the community sat in those. We have 8 grand juries right up the block. Those are my people. I spent years in those rooms. Can I stand up? And
now you're rolling. Now you're
Come
rolling.
on, man. This dude's awesome.
And those regular folks, just like us, went into that room behind closed doors, feeding Donald Trump and his DOJ and Pam Bondi, and no, and no, and no. And then Janine Pirro said, okay, well, I won't bring a felony charge. I'll bring a misdemeanor charge, which she can do with just the sign of a pen. And then trial juries told her, hell no, not guilty. Go away. That is we the people. That's we the people doing that. And when it comes to accountability, listen, we don't need any more putting long national nightmares behind us with no accountability. We tried it in 74. We tried it again after Donald Trump launched an attack on the Capitol to try to steal a presidential election. No more Merrick Garlands. We need a DOJ full of Jack Smiths. We need a DOJ full of Jack Smiths. And friends, win, lose, or draw, we need to investigate every crime that's being perpetrated by Trump and his cabinet and his flunkies against the American people right
Epstein
now.
files.
We need to hold them accountable because without accountability, guess what? We don't get to keep our republic anymore.
Nope. Here we go. This is what we're going to do. With the 45 seconds that we have left, we're all going to stand up. All right, here we go. On the count of 3, we're going to yell defy. And then we're going to yell love. All right? Because I don't want to just be angry. I want to say defy, and I want to say love America. How about that? Love America. You guys like that? All right. 1, 2, 3. Defy.
Defy.
1, 2, 3. Love America. Thank you, everyone. Folks,
How about
there's only
Raj?
one thing.
Raj,
Yeah, go ahead.
We defy because we love America.
Oh, all right, let's do it.
Fine.
On the count of
Yeah.
3.
Go.
On the count of 3. We defy
We
because we love
defy
America. Here we go.
because
It's
we love
editing in real
America.
time. 1, 2, 3.
We defy because we love America.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey.
The voice of God approves of that message.
That's funny.
Next up, a message from Virginia Congressman Representative Eugene Vindman.
Okay.
Tonight, Donald Trump will take the stage and deliver a speech defined by the 3 C's of his administration: chaos, cruelty, and corruption. You won't hear a real solution to another C, costs. You won't hear a serious plan to lower costs for working families. You won't hear anything that reflects what Americans feel in their daily lives. You'll hear what you always hear from Donald Trump: lies, insults, and deflections. Here's the truth. Abandoning working families, cozying up to authoritarians, betraying our allies like Ukraine, which today marks the 4th anniversary of Russia's heinous invasion, and undermining our freedoms at home doesn't make America stronger. It makes us weaker. I came to this country as a refugee. I served 25 years in the United States Army, defending American freedom and the Constitution. I spoke out when Donald Trump abused his power for personal gain. I've seen what happens when leaders like him go unchecked. We cannot let that happen here. We must turn out in droves for this year's elections and hold Trump and Republicans accountable. America is worth fighting for.
If you are in this room, stand up and stretch your legs. Come on, get up. If you're out there in America, stand up and stretch your legs. I know you've been sitting there on that couch. Come on, get up. Come on, stretch those legs. And when I say stand up, you say, let's try that again. Stand up. Stand up.
And fight.
One more time.
Stand
up.
And fight.
That's right. We're going into another round of Defiant Voices. I am thrilled to welcome to the stage a friend, a very courageous man, Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton.
Thank you. Good evening. Now, just a few miles from here, in a speech that sounds like a drunk phone call from your uncle, Donald Trump will rant about his dismal vision for America. So let's make tonight about our vision, not his. A vision rooted in something stronger than a laundry list of grievances from the 5th grade. A vision for America.
Maine?
Too often we get bogged down in how
Massachusetts, right.
bad things are, that we don't envision a future that's so bright it's actually normal. Like, imagine walking into every hospital in America, confident you'll get the best health care in the world, and you'll be able to afford it. That's called investing in health care instead of wars. Imagine waking up as an immigrant, excited to check in with immigration authorities to tell them all the great things you're doing for our country because you're on a pathway to citizenship. Imagine getting on an American train that's the fastest train in the world, never delayed by weather, and so reliable that you get a refund if it's 5 minutes late. That's called investing in infrastructure instead of ICE. Imagine being able to go to the grocery store and afford your groceries because we don't have tariffs on bananas and coffee, because that's bananas and covfefe.
Okay.
Imagine
I get it, but
being a single parent working 2 jobs to make ends meet, but so proud to know that the same rules
he's the kind of guy that
apply
my
to
son
you
be like,
as to billionaire CEOs. That's called a country where the working class is celebrated and pedophiles go to prison. And imagine waking up in an America where you disagree with your president, but you're proud of her because she's a great American. That's called electing Democrats and not MAGA Republicans. And imagine just going into the voting booth at the midterms knowing that your vote will get counted. That's called living in our America, not Donald Trump's MAGA America. And even imagine being proud to watch the State of the Union with your kids. Hard to imagine today. That's what's so crazy, is that these things are hard to imagine today, and yet they're totally normal. And honestly, I believe most Americans, the vast majority of Americans, even many Republicans, want that America and want it today. And realizing that vision is called leadership. So let's fight like hell, Democrats, Americans, and let's lead. Because when Democrats lead, we win. And it's time we win for America. Go USA!
Okay.
You. Look, I was elected Attorney General, then Governor of Montana for 8 years, making me have a view from both the red state and its state house. Like John Tester, we live in a rural state, a state with consistently high turnout, where people can still actually register to vote on Election Day, and a place that could re-elect me as governor by 4 points when Trump won his first time by 20. You know, I love those introductions mentioning my victories. What they don't mention is after that.
And quite frankly, I think you should be able to register all the way up to Election Day. I mean, why not? And if you're going to force, you know, some sort of like proof of citizenship, I mean, for starters, a license, something like a Social Security card. It's not, yeah, if you brought a Social Security card up there, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't vote that day. Why not? You're showing proof. Why does the state need multiple? I mean, you're just putting your name on a ballot. It doesn't matter before that. I mean, they're making it way too complicated.
I ran for Senate and I lost. For that I ran, though I can joke about it because I'd like to believe I'm a normal human being. It happens. When stepping into the arena, the prospect of actually losing weighs on every sane candidate's mind. My career has been shaped by the law, practicing it, defending it, implementing it. I'm such a geek that when I was Attorney General, I had to argue cases, and my staff called me the Attorney Specific. As governor, working within those confines of the separation of powers, I took pleasure in smacking down bad law. And working with the legislature to shape our common values into law was one of my great highlights. Though now I got to tell you, my confidence in the rule of law is shaken. It's not gone, but it's shaken. At its core, the acid test of democracy is honoring the will of the voters when you or your party lose. That small man who currently occupies our highest office, he doesn't get that. When he loses, he whines. Worse, and unlike the American experience over the last 237 years, he's doing everything he can to undermine our electoral democracy. For you hunters like me, let me tell you in a way that you might understand. Donald Trump has put his crosshairs on the heart of our democracy, your sacred right to vote and have that vote matter. Don't boo, organize.
Mm-hmm.
And look, you might think I'm overstating it.
Get out to vote.
Month, Trump said we should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. Last month, he tells Reuters, because this administration is doing such great work, when you think about it, we shouldn't even have an election. Don't boo, organize.
There's no reason for it. I'm doing so great. My polls are so high.
Putting in the National Guard to swing states after his loss in the 2020 election. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating votes, he said last fall. Organize. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them to do, he said. Look, even if you don't want to believe that he's saying the quiet part out loud, this is more than his routine, unhinged, wacky comments. Look at what's happening and look at who's doing it. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, Kristi Noem, all denied the results of the 2020 election, and all are undermining the integrity of our upcoming election. Pam Bondi's DOJ sues 24 states demanding voter rolls. She wants the DOJ to have your Social Security number, your driver's license information. After the murder of Alex Preddy, Bondi wrote to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz stating that if he wished to bring an end to the chaos in Minnesota, a common sense solution would include providing DOJ access to voter rolls. Don't boo or...
As if that had a fuck to do with what was going on in Minnesota. It was absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous and so telling. Absolutely telling about what all this has all been really about. It's ridiculous.
Organize. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she wants a piece of this pie. She recently said when it gets to election day that we've been proactive to make sure that we have the right people voting, electing the right people to lead this country through the days that we have. Look, more than just words and deeds, the president has tried to decertify all voting.
What does that mean? Have the right people voting? Like, literally the right people voting? To get the right people in power?
Machines, override state laws around mail balloting, and gut funding and the mission for CISA, that federal agency that actually said the 2020 election was the most secure in American history. What this adds up to is we have a president and administration actively trying to manipulate the 2026 election. We have a president who's toying around with the Insurrection Act, who sends the FBI to raid election offices, and sends DNI Director Tulsi Gabbard there as well, by the way. Her job has nothing to do with law enforcement or running elections. We have a president who's not just repeating his crazy conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. He's actually threatening to prosecute state officials who do their job and count their votes accurately. These are very real threats to our nation. You know, sometimes when we talk about what's happening in the country, we use lofty language like liberty, tyranny, and the Constitution. And look, Donald Trump's violating the Constitution just about every damn day. We can't allow that to become the norm. But if we don't protect our elections, the rest of it may not matter. Elections are about who we are and what we want and how we actually keep the government in check. Elections day is that one day when each and every one of us are more powerful than any corporation, any special interest, any politician, because our vote is our voice, and our voices matter.
Exactly.
I'm not sure they've ever mattered more. And it's important to remember that elections are run by state and local officials, not the federal government.
Nope.
That decentralized system is how we know that elections are free and fair. It's a security feature. It's not a bug. We have those elections because we can count on hardworking local folks.
What is a bug is the damn program that the federal government has been using to go through those voter rolls from states, claiming people who are not citizens just for the states to find out that they actually are citizens. And like over 50% of the people that this voter rolls are actually voters. Over 50%. That's the bug. They're trying to disenfranchise, suppress voters across all the states. If they could, if they can actually force all the states to do this. But so far, they've only been able to get a choice few. But it's coming down to the local areas, the local locations being like, this isn't right. These people are real people. What are y'all talking about? Because the state governments are pushing it down to the local areas, telling them, and sometimes even forcing them to remove the names. That's the problem. That's the corruption. Violation warning. I have not done it. TikTok's giving me a violation warning.
In every state that are committed to that process. A process that protects each and every vote.
No lies
here. If we
here.
lose that process, folks, we've lost everything. The president does not respect that process because he does not respect the will of the voters. He's willing to use the full force of the federal government to reject any election he doesn't like. He told us so, and it's starting to happen already. We have to see the whole picture. Raiding election offices, prosecuting election officials, federal or even military takeover of election systems.
Cut off here
These are all ways to take away our voice. And if we don't fight for our elections, we'll have nothing left to fight for. I believe this is the time to ask ourselves, when am I willing to say enough is enough? What is my red line? Is it when the economy
TikTok
is
is taking away our First
corruption?
Amendment right?
When the government goes after a free and fair press? Is it when federal agents shoot Americans in the street? Don't boo, organize. Is it when the President of the United States is actually willing to undermine these free and fair elections to protect his own power? This is not a time to hope for the best. This is time for each of us to ask, what am I willing to do? Am I willing to write my first check to a nonprofit, to support independent media? Am I prepared to go to my first protest? What about volunteering and working at a polling station? Will I speak up? And you know what we see? Not only you, I see Americans all over the country doing these things and making a difference.
Apparently the State of the Union is late.
When the president said we should nationalize elections, patriotic Republicans joined Democrats and said, no, that's not who we are. When masked agents terrorized the people of Minnesota, peaceful protesters said, no, that's not who we are. The Justice Department is trying to prosecute the president's political opponents just for payback. Independent judges and everyday citizens in grand jury rooms keep saying, no, that's not who we are. I see proof every day that Americans are finding their voices. And when we find our collective voices, great things happen. Look, politicians always say, this is the most important election in our lifetime. Maybe. Only history will actually judge whether this is the most important election of our lives. But I'll be damned if it's the last one that we have.
Because it's 8:03, and he's not up there doing it yet.
And our elections are worth fighting for because they're the only way that we can fight for everything else. At the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin was asked by a woman what form of government our new country would have. He told her, a republic, madam, if you can keep it. The pathetic, whiny loser who knocked down our East Wing thinks he can take down our democracy. He is wrong. We will fight, and we will keep it. The state of our union is stronger than he thinks. It's more determined than he can imagine, and tougher than he'll ever be. Go out and organize, and thank you for being here tonight.
Unless the AP is behind. Like, this is supposed to be live.
And now, a video message from former Georgia House Minority Leader, pro-democracy champion, best-selling author, and yes, writer of sexy books, Stacey Abrams!
Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the team at Defiance.org for putting together this terrific event and giving us a more hopeful alternative to the Trump regime's dark vision for our country. Across this nation, we're witnessing coordinated attacks on our elections, voter purges, intimidation, sham investigations, and laws designed to make participation harder. We must be clear about why this is happening. It's about control. History shows us that authoritarianism doesn't arrive overnight. It takes hold slowly when trust is deliberately eroded and when people are treated as obstacles to be overcome rather than the source of true power. And that's the moment we're in. This year will be a test of whether democracy still belongs to the people. And that's why turnout has to be decisive and overwhelming. Because when people show up and engage, authoritarians start to lose their grip on power. So I invite all of you watching to go to 10stepscampaign.org and sign up to stay engaged and informed on ways to reclaim and restore our democracy. Democracy is a shared responsibility. It's protected by engaging our communities, mobilizing our neighbors, and electing leaders that represent us. The future is still ours to shape if we decide to take action together.
Give it up for Stacey Abrams! You've got the endurance for a long fight, because it's going to be more than a long night. It's going to be a long fight. So when I say stand up, you say stand up.
Fight.
All right, we're going to hear from more defiant voices about protecting our democracy. I am thrilled to welcome to the stage from New York, Democratic Congressman, former federal prosecutor Dan Goldman.
All right. Hello, my friends. Hello, my frogs. It is great to be with you tonight. It's definitely great to be with you and not in the Capitol. In a few minutes, Donald Trump is going to take part in a storied tradition, delivering the State of the Union, his first of this second term. Now, we don't really need to see it, because we know what it will be. Hours of nonsensical, incoherent, rambling lies, starting right at the beginning, because the state of our union is not strong.
Okay, he's walking in now.
It is hanging by a thread. So, instead
6 minutes
of
late,
forcing
he's walking
you to
in.
listen to 3 hours of lies, gaslighting, and narcissism, I'm going to give you the true State of the Union in 3 minutes. Under Donald Trump's failed leadership, hardworking Americans are being left behind in an unaffordable economy,
destructive tariffs, soaring costs, health care, food benefits being yanked away, all while Donald Trump uses his office to extort foreign governments, take money from pardon seekers, line his own pockets, and make sure that his billionaire buddies are getting record profits and tax cuts. Under Donald Trump's failed leadership, an out-of-control, unqualified, unvetted, untrained, secret ICE paramilitary force is terrorizing our cities across the land, demanding citizenship papers, illegally searching homes and cars, and beating and killing Americans, all with no accountability. And under his failed leadership, the rule of law is under attack. He's using the DOJ to prosecute his political enemies, the most basic no-no in any democracy. He's defying court orders, even slandering his own Supreme Court justices. And most importantly, and pay attention to this, he is blatantly covering up his own misconduct by refusing to follow the law and release all of the Epstein files.
Exactly. Where are they?
Release the files. But perhaps most dangerous of all is that under Donald Trump's failed leadership, our free and fair elections are in serious jeopardy. First, he tried to rig these upcoming elections through partisan gerrymandering. When that didn't work, he sent his lawless, masked, militarized immigration agents to Minneapolis with the intention of inciting violence so he can invoke the Insurrection Act, try to post ICE officers at poll sites, and worse yet, maybe even cancel the election. Now, that may sound crazy to you, but you don't need to take my word for it. Because in the very same day, a few weeks ago, Donald Trump said that he might have to invoke the Insurrection Act in the morning, and then in the afternoon he said there shouldn't be elections. We know that his brain is slow enough that it takes from morning to afternoon for him to say what he's actually thinking, but he always says what he's thinking. But that's not it. So Attorney General Pam Bondi demanded that Governor Tim Walz from Minnesota listen to this, turn over Minnesota's voter rolls. Why? In return for withdrawing ICE officers. ICE is in the Department of Homeland Security, not the Department of Justice. Why is the Department of Justice demanding voter rolls?
Get going.
At the same time, you have the Department of Justice lying to a judge to get a search warrant for the 2020 ballots from Fulton County. And who was there? Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence. The Director of National Intelligence has nothing to do with law enforcement or any reason for a search warrant. So what is this? The Three Musketeers? Bondi, Kristi Noem, and Tulsi Gabbard? The Three Stooges is right. Now, the only reason you would want ballots and voter rolls
just standing there.
There's no other reason for the federal government to have it. And so now you have all of these efforts by the administration. And, of course, the Republicans in Congress
fucking take the podium already.
They're about to lose their majority. And so they're working overtime to help Donald Trump do that. Now, let's briefly talk about voter fraud. I can talk about it briefly because it doesn't exist. So the SAVE Act does not matter. They are trying to take away everything that we stand for with our elections. So it's going to take all of us to organize, energize, activate, advocate, and fight for our democracy. So it's time for us to stand up. It's time for us to stand up. Are you with me? Are you with me? Then let's get to work.
Uh-oh.
All right.
We heard that Robbie Roadsteamer is in the building with us.
Okay. He's still just standing there. He's just been standing there now for like, what? 2 or 3 minutes? Am I... Maybe we need to find a better... Hold on.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. It's Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States,
Their picture is so bad.
Second Lady of the United States,
PBS audio's a little better.
members of Congress, and my fellow Americans. Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages. And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure.
Okay, so we have, that's one of the congressmen from Texas walking out.
Thank you.
Doing his walking.
Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States.
That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. You can look at the records. We are still having people come across the border, some that are not getting caught.
But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
has not many.
The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year.
And a lot of that has to do with stuff that Mexico has actually implemented.
And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years. Wow. Year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation, down to the lowest level in more than 5.7%.
I don't think that is correct.
Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states, under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
There are
mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. That even the administration, the White House website does not claim.
Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
Is TikTok going to come over and say that there's misinformation going on now?
As thousands of new businesses are forming and factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil.
You mean you stole them?
American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill.
And it's all going overseas.
More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today, and 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
That's not really something to be that proud of. Like, I don't.
We ended DEI in America.
Okay, so you are admitting you don't like to be
We
inclusive?
got a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps.
You mean you remove them from food stamps? Amazing how they say they lifted them from food stamps. Like,
And for all of these reasons, I say
we made it
tonight,
so good for
members
them
of
that they didn't need 'em
Congress,
anymore.
the state of our union is strong.
Yep. As strong as trickle of water out of the faucet.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much.
This is our president in the State of the Union, y'all.
You're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's good for the hockey team. Congratulations. Hard work. And skill. You fucked up his hair, bro.
Go ahead.
It's already going to be 2 hours long. Why not? Damn, did he get a puck to the face? Shit. I'm sorry. Yeah. He might have.
That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up.
Is the only thing deservingly right now to get up
fantastic
for.
Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
I always feel like these types of declarations are kind of weird for the State of the Union. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great that they won, but it's nothing to do with the State of the Union.
They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuyck.
I don't even know. I didn't watch it, but I mean, I'm sure he did well.
Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off, do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Okay. I mean, okay.
Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country.
I mean, why don't y'all just stay standing? Shit.
And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics, I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news.
Okay.
So this will be a year to celebrate our country. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Wow. Oh, the cameraman had the wrong guy.
So, buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClymont closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
I guess that's Millie Kate beside him.
People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time.
Something.
Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776
He already
to today,
did. What the?
Every generation of
What?
Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And
He's just reading
they're
from a
really doing it
teleprompter.
for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes
Vance
who
always
came
look like
before
he's
us,
confused.
and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans.
To the rich, yes. Rich and wealthy, as usual, they always get the tax cuts.
All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
You're right, they did.
They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead.
No, they didn't.
But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful
I don't know why
bill,
you're showing that
we
dildo.
gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
That's not really substantial at all. It's going to actually more than
And
likely
we also
hurt
made interest
our
on
job
auto
market.
loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan.
She must make a shit ton in tips.
Thank you, Megan.
Like a
We're
lot.
fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that. No. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school, and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing?
If
Over
you, the
100,000
parents,
could be much
invest
more than that.
thousands and
To make this
thousands of
investment in our
dollars
children's future,
a
go
year,
to TrumpAccounts.gov.
a month, actually.
TrumpAccounts.gov. And a lot of people are
Like
doing
you-
it. It's setting
it
every
is-
record in the book.
it's
Popular.
mostly
They
from
knew
parents
what it was
having
going
to
take.
invest.
So proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that
Parents
got it
that
started.
more than likely won't be
Now
able to
it's
invest
just
that type of
taken
money.
off. One of the primary
So it's-
reasons
it's
for
gonna
our
be
country's stunning
ultimately pointless.
economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P
it's an
hit
interesting
7,000,
concept, but
where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years,
the way it works
were
is
tariffs, both
is not gonna
economically
be
and
real
on a
substantive.
national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it.
No, they weren't.
Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say
They
it.
weren't doing anything.
And yet these countries
These
are
were
now
deals
happy.
that we had done put in place, and
so
it kept
are
our
we.
prices
We made
low.
deals. The deals are all done.
It was on
And
purpose.
they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth, and the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't.
Something
they got it
that
totally
those,
wrong. They got it
SCOTUS
really wrong.
just
And then just 4 days ago,
struck
an
down.
unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
The SCOTUS that's just sitting right in front of him, by the way.
But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Never going to happen.
Right?
It's impossible.
Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America.
You love what America does for you.
For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New Scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
No. They didn't cause it. They didn't do a whole lot to try to prevent it, but they didn't cause it.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward.
No, they're not. No, they're not. That's just a fucking lie.
The
They're not
price of
plummeting
eggs
anyways.
is down 60%.
Oh my God, eggs. Oh my, eggs.
Thank you.
The
cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And
No, it's
even
not.
beef, which was very high,
Beef is
starting
sure as
to
fuck
come
not.
down
Beef is high as hell
Just
still.
hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big
Can't believe it's
tax
not
cut.
going down.
I'm also confronting one of the biggest
Actually, we can't
ripoffs
believe.
of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable
You were
Care
literally
Act,
taking health care away from
sometimes
people.
referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price
JF
transparency.
Kennedy would
That's a
be
big
turning
deal.
in his fucking grave if
Sounds
he
so
could
simple, so
at
good.
RFK. I swear.
And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Of course, we're going to go way up, and that's what happened, and now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action. But I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the
Because you
lowest
wouldn't
price
regulate it.
anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere. The lowest price.
No, we won't have the lowest price. That's bullshit. All he's doing is trying to force other countries to raise their prices to balance out
So in my
so that
first year
companies
of
will
the
start
second term,
charging the U.S. a little bit less
third term,
to try to equal out their profits.
strange things happen.
There's not any way of
I took
preventing them from getting their
prescription
profits. They're going to
drugs,
make sure they get their
A
profits.
very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is
fucking
price
lie.
differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more. All available right now at a new website
They're going to be
called
paying you for your
TrumpRx.gov.
prescriptions.
And I didn't name that one either, by the way.
Is he going to bring up Trump RX, which is a fucking scam?
And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase, but a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom.
I'm sure there's something behind that, but it's already been found that Trump RX is actually a higher than a lot of places of like the Good RX. You could go to Good RX and get multitude of medicines way cheaper than Trump RX has it.
So now I'm calling on Congress to
It's a scam.
codify my most
And also
favorite
Trump
nation
RX does
program
not
into law. Now, the one thing I'm not
allow
sure it
for
matters
like
because
generic
it's gonna be
drugs.
very
It's
hard
all
for somebody that comes
named
along
drugs.
after me
So
to
you're
say,
not
let's raise drug
You're not
prices by
getting
700 or
anything
800%. But
but
John
name
and Mike,
brand
if you don't
drugs
mind, codify it anyway.
slightly
They may
cheaper
do it.
than what they have been
Codify it
charging.
anyway. Thank you.
And even
Many
in some
Americans
cases,
are
even
also
that's not the
concerned
case.
that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy. I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of 2 from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Racel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon.
I'd have to look into like the details around that. Because that's the one thing
We're
that I
also
haven't really
working
looked
to make
completely
it
into.
easier for Americans to save
It could
for
be the one
retirement.
somewhat
And under
decent
this
thing that the
administration, we
administration's
will
done.
always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k
Democrats have really
balance
been
is
the
up
ones
by at
trying
least
to pressure y'all to protect it.
$30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
Okay. Again, we have to see the details on that, but it sounds good.
They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is
seen as though more
really,
Republicans do it than Democrats.
plundering America, there's been no more
Some of
stunning
the biggest
example
gainers
than
are Republicans.
Minnesota, where members of the
I mean, they both
Somali
do it, but-
community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
Okay.
We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colvin was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
I mean, that's
And
great. I
yesterday,
don't know to what degree
as
that
you
actually
probably saw at
happens
the
that
White
much.
House,
But
I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge
fine,
of
though.
illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them.
Wow. 85% or more are not criminal.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, Homeland Security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
To protect everybody on our soil. And give protection to everybody on our soil, not just American citizens. Who is this woman down here on the Democratic side just standing up? It's like she was planted there on purpose. Who the hell is she?
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals, and enact serious penalties for public officials
Yes,
who
you have
block
killed
the
Americans.
removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Hold
That
up.
protect the criminal.
I was too busy listening to her. Let me see what he's saying here exactly.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay. Your ICE agents have literally attacked violently and killed American citizens while you stand up there talking about protecting a U.S. citizen.
The Save America Act.
Fuck off.
To stop illegal aliens and others who are
The Gestapo
unpermitted persons
thugs.
from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is
This
rampant in our
bitch
elections.
here.
It's
Oh my
rampant.
God.
It's very simple.
I
All
hate that I
voters
ever
must show voter
considered
ID.
supporting her at one time.
All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Want them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
If you are requiring ID at a polling place that costs a voter money in order to actually get and receive, if you're requiring that, it is technically a poll tax, which is unconstitutional. You cannot, you must provide, if you are to do an ID, you must provide an ID, a voting ID, to citizens free of charge. Simple as that. This is not complicated. But the way they are presenting it, they're requiring forms of identification that, for one, are expensive to get or hard to get in some cases. And would, again, be illegal because it would be in the form of a poll tax. So that's the reason why it's unconstitutional and will not pass. So it's dead on arrival.
And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat, they have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John.
Because, for starters, and I know the first thing people are going to say is, well, you know, your driver's license you have to pay for. Driver's license is not attached to voting. Okay? Driver's license is something that everybody has to have, period, to drive. If they don't drive, though, they don't have the driver's license. So that in itself also could be a complication. But when you're requiring additional documentation that would cost you, that would directly tie that to voting, then that is then a poll tax. That's the reason why it's unconstitutional. In our Constitution, it is not allowed in our elections to. It's just that makes it free. It's the reason why it's free and fair elections. Because there is to be no poll tax. It should not cost the American people anything to cast a vote. So, if you want to do voter IDs, it's all fine and dandy, but it has to be provided free to all citizens. Period. And if you're not putting down legislation that is around that specific policy, then it's not. It's just not legal, period.
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it,
It's not
and we
happening.
must ban it immediately.
Not happening.
Look, nobody says up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. 7. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady. Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that?
Not
Over
exactly.
the past year, she has
flopped.
had an incredible impact championing AI
She's a
legislation,
star among her
advancing a
own
landmark executive order
fan
on
base.
foster care,
I mean,
and helping secure $30 million to launch the
which is the Trump
Melania
fan
Trump
base.
Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous
a
thing that
complete
happened
flop.
and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome 2 young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion,
all
faith,
those women so
Christianity,
fake
and
looking?
belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man.
Oh my God! Don't pretend like you.
So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with
is
us
so
tonight.
fucking
Erica,
fake.
please stand.
She's already standing, dumbass. She's so fucking fake.
Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under
I'm
God.
not trying to
and we
disrespect
must
Charlie
totally
Kirk as dead or
reject
anything.
political violence
I'm just saying
of
she's
any
fake as
kind.
fuck.
We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a
pro-crime is you.
Irina fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget there were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
I mean, he went into great detail on hers, didn't he? Which is fine, but holy. I don't know the specifics of this stuff, so.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
What about those in the Epstein files?
Last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen?
Why does it do this thing?
In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying.
Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. A great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And
Welcome
after
back,
looking
Court.
at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much.
He is a cutie pie. He's a cutie
So,
pie.
Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart.
Well deserved.
We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia.
No, you didn't.
Isn't it
Fucking
funny?
lie. It goes
Sick
right
people.
from doing something actually
Cambodia
decent,
and Thailand.
just straight fucking lying.
Pakistan and India would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for
Hasn't
my
solved
involvement.
anything.
Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia.
All he's done is create more
Armenia
chaos
and Azerbaijan.
and starting shit.
The Congo and Rwanda. And of course, the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve
Whoa,
Witkoff
whoa,
and
whoa,
Jared
whoa, whoa,
Kushner
whoa,
for
whoa, whoa,
your-
whoa, wait a minute. Did he just admit that the war in Gaza was still going on? While we were supposed to be under a ceasefire since October. Oh my God. Talk about saying the quiet part out loud. That is amazing. He fucking admitted on live TV in the middle of the State of the Union that the war was still actually going on. Wow. Wow. I wonder how many people caught that. People had to have caught that. Come on. People had to have caught that. As we've said over and over again, it's you see sweet fire when it comes to Israel. Because they have continued to fire, continued to kill, and they haven't stopped. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Hold up. Hold the F up. Let's go back.
And of course, the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level, it's just about there.
Proceeds at a very low level. It's not as a big war as it was. It's a little bitty war. Just a little bitty war that still proceeds to this day. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. That is fucking crazy. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I guess there's no more ceasefire. No more ceasefire. Donald Trump admitted it. There's no more ceasefire. Okay. Well, there we go. All right. Let's go on.
I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help.
A little bitty war.
Thank you, Jared.
Fuck off. You are enriching yourself off of fucking war.
To Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco.
Warmonger.
People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever.
That's laughable. That is so laughable. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Fuck.
Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned.
You mean the non-ceasefire? The small war that's still going?
Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more.
Yeah, because Israel destroyed the fucking place.
I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back.
And they had to dig them out from underneath the rubble.
14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug, and they dug, and they dug. It's a tough
because Israel dropped enough bombs to equal 12 nuclear strikes.
Passing up 100
12
bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job.
Nuclear bombs.
They finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28.
Destroying over 80% of Gaza.
Possible, but we did it. And
the structures.
I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy.
With
as happy as It's possible.
military
possible
weaponry
they
and
had their
ammo
boy
from
back.
us.
The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job.
Something that should have been done all the way back in fucking Biden. Biden and Trump both failed on that. So, fuck this. Like, this is so...
And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront
war that I'm
going
gonna
to
finish in one day.
Wherever we must.
It's going to be done
That's
before
why
I even
in a
walk in the
breakthrough
White House.
operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation
An illegal attack.
Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon.
And they
Many
haven't.
decades.
And they weren't.
Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members.
Sounds like Israel.
Hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a
Another
huge
illegal
impact.
strike.
He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference...
No, your demand is for them to have no nuclear operation, period, which is against international law. They have stated over and over and over again they would not have a nuclear
solve
weapon.
This problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
They have the right under international law, just as any other sovereign country, to enrich nuclear power for energy and stuff. Every nation has that right. And we are actually commanding them to not zero enrichment.
The military in my first term.
And that's illegal.
We're going to continue to do so.
It's not something any country would agree to.
Also, just approved $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have power that we built together. It's really called Peace Through Strength, and it's been very, very effective.
Peace through bullying. We bully the shit out of everybody, hoping that they will accept it and take it.
So thanks to Republican in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice.
Bullies and threats.
In the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because, as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed, at my very strong request, to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 4. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people. And they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For $1 more, we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more, I said, in the military that doesn't thank me for it, so we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also... We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that.
By all your illegal strikes on boats.
Seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore.
Yeah, because you were blowing up fishing boats.
We've also taken down one of the most... In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force than we had years ago when we fought to tie. No, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby. Because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed All defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
An illegal operation where you quite literally kidnapped
colossal victory
a sovereign nation's
security
leader.
of the United States and Venezuela. Delcy Rodriguez to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down. Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter, a big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission, probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives, what's happened to his legs, of the bullets, and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy, Eric, and Amy, come on in.
Injuries that he took because this administration sent him on a mission that was illegal. Sent him on an illegal military mission to kidnap another country's leader. And he gets injured.
So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
A Medal of Honor for conducting an illegal act of war. I'm sorry. I just have a problem with this. I have a major problem with this.
Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy.
Don't get me
Great
wrong.
to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors.
I'm fine that he's okay. I'm happy he's okay, that he lived or whatever. But again, he was carrying out orders by an administration, enacting command and orders that it was an illegal act. No matter how you look at it, it was an illegal act. And something that should not have happened. And while to some degree, him, along with many other officers, probably felt like they were required and needed to do so, obligated to do so, or forced to do so, or whatever the case. But still. Like, this was the point in the video from the Congress men and women who did the video saying, look, you do have an obligation to not carry out orders that are illegal. That was the point. But I do understand the pressure of carrying out orders that you were told to do by your commanding officers. And this is what I'm talking about by doing illegal orders and placing our soldiers in situations like this unnecessarily gets them injured. Sometimes gets them killed. And that's just my problem all around with the military, our generals, our in leadership, who carry out these types of missions, politicized missions, that ultimately look down, that we frown upon looking back in hindsight, because we know they were wrong. Now, no matter how much I would agree that Maduro was a horrible leader and needed to be removed from power, but it needed to be removed from power from within. Not, and I understand if you disagree, that's fine, but that's just my stance.
Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg. We have it back. We brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House. And Eric will do that. Thank you.
I mean, it is an honor that he did a heroic act to protect his fellow servicemen. That I understand and that I get. And I'm okay with that. And on that alone, okay, the award is honorable. But the fact of the matter is the whole mission was not honorable. So.
Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor. Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday.
Does he feel the need to turn everything around for himself?
That's a big thing, and
that is so, oh my God.
Thank you both very much, Eric.
Just say thank you, and why turn every fucking thing around? I deserve it. I mean, I don't know why I would, but I would love to give it to myself, because I'm so amazing and so special, but they tell me I got to give it to you, so whatever.
250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together, we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel, and then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture, and now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside, but that great betrayal is over and they will never be forgotten again, because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of Providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Whew. Holy. He's pretty much it. He's gonna make his way out.
Good job.
Thank you.
Very well done. We'll see you Friday, Mr. President. Great job.
Good. See you. Thank you.
Well done. Good job.
He's a youngster.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Louisiana have a motion?
All right. So that's all for that. Man, that was long. Damn, that was long. What we have a giraffe. Okay. I'm not going to carry much. I'm not going to go any further. The Peoples, I'm not sure. This was with Midas Touch and Move On alongside elected officials, partners, allies, and direct this was at, hold on, refresh. Okay. Did this go on for like 2 hours too? Okay, so this went on for 3 hours. Holy.
Our members from the people who are being impacted.
Give thanks. She told.
But not to are being targeted because they fear the government water out of Steve.
No matter what, it's not this corporation.
Until it was fundamental.
But Donald Trump.
Okay, so this is.
We are the largest country.
A lot richer.
Basically, a lot of
she became a leader
elected
in her
officials who
and she will be
and
because of this secret police
partners that
a future
got up here and talked.
Is a form of
even Jamila Jopal. She must have left.
Really appreciate Move On organizing this tonight and all the people that are on
Congress.
the live stream across the country.
No, I'm sorry, she wasn't in there. Never mind, she wasn't in there.
Is a
I'm
veteran
thinking
and
of
a son.
the other lady.
Linda
that was
by
in there.
Because
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I meant to get to this and I meant to be able, but I didn't realize that all of these were going to go as long as they were. I thought they were going to be more like something that would just run before the union and then, an hour long or something as a rebuttal, but not literally run through the union, the State of the Union. But that seemed to not be the case. And I'm pretty sure they were saying a lot of stuff here that was already probably going on with this State of the Swamp, in rebuke of Trump and the administration, all the things that has been happening and going on, to give more truth to power, or truth within the lies, or in spite of the lies, rather. So, yeah. As I predicted, he did spew a lot of stuff, all of his so-called accomplishments that are just lies. There's always, when it comes to the State of the Union where they give out these awards, it's the only thing that a lot of times is very kind of honest and heartfelt, I guess, for the majority, and can agree upon that this is a good thing. Those that are given dedications to, those who are thought back on because of tragic incidents or whatever the case. I mean, yes, that is all great and nothing to, be really negative about or anything like that. And they are very much honored and probably should receive the awards. I mean, there's been a few times in history where people have received awards that was kind of probably considered disrespectful or not, not really truly honored. But again, though, it's like the thing with Trump is he constantly just goes back all the time. Got to talking about him. He is so butthurt that he hasn't theoretically, like technically won a award, like a genuine award, not an award that was just made up for him, or not an award that was gifted to him by somebody else who got the award, but like genuinely got an award. And he is so butthurt that to the point that he's like, everything that when you see somebody else receive something, it's, I mean, I asked if I could get it, but they told me I couldn't. I had to give it to somebody else. But yeah, I don't even know why I would really give it to myself because, but I mean, but I probably deserved it, again, because I do such amazing things. But it's so self-centered, self-aggrandizing nonsense. And then this constant battering on the Democrats' lies and the Democrats about different things. It's so Trump, I guess. But yeah, it was pretty much that was it. As I said in my predictions, he was going to lie. He was going to self-aggrandize, the state of himself. And talk about all these accomplishments that he actually did not do. It was the most amazing thing, I think, was still, though, him sort of quietly admitting that Gaza and Israel is still under war. Like, that to me was amazing. And also, while I have no problem and understand honoring those who were survived, or the family being honored for those who didn't survive an attack by somebody, but to specifically make all of it about like immigrants, like as if immigrants are the only people that have ever committed, or heinous crimes or something. Like, U.S. citizens have a much higher rate, almost double rate of extreme, like, violent crimes than immigrants do. He didn't talk about all the right-wing terrorists, actual domestic terrorists who have committed violent crimes, killed, murdered people, even shot U.S. Congress people. He didn't mention any of that. He doesn't mention those types of things. Where right-wing domestic terrorism is the biggest domestic terrorism we have in this country, and have for decades, because they are the most violent and most extreme. Yes, there are left-wing too, and they are just as bad in the act itself and should not happen. Any extremism, right or left, should not happen. Violence, killing, murder, whatever. But it was solely to put in like this hardened stamp on immigrants bad because they commit crimes. Look at these people that they've killed. Like, there was drama. There was some pushback by members on the Democratic side, albeit not as much as I would have liked, but there was some pushback on certain areas. I would have liked them to push back on every single lie, though. That would have been amazing. But the Democratic Party kind of prides itself on being like, on a higher, respectable, like, plane and cordial to a certain degree. It wasn't until like extreme moments of like attack and lies that you did have pushback. But yeah, I mean, it was quite a night between all your different rebuttals, protests. There was more Democrats in there than I expected, honestly, or that was even being reported or suspected. Which is, good. Like I said, I would prefer them being there to oppose, although, again, they didn't really oppose as much as I would have liked. But, there were quite a few that looked like they appeared at the People's State of the Union. There were some that even appeared at the State of the Swamp. Tonight just shows just how divided and ununited this country is. Or divided. It's united, but in a way that's against this administration. And that is the state of our union. That there is such a broad and large coalition of people united against the actions of this administration. And it's ever growing with every illegal and heinous act that this administration does. Which in itself is good to see and is positive for eventually, hopefully, some sort of consequences, some sort of repercussions, some sort of justice will finally come to fruition on all these acts that this administration has done. But yeah, thank you for joining me. This was a long night. I've been going for almost 4 hours now on TikTok and YouTube. And while I didn't get that, I only got a few viewers here and there. Thank you in a few comments here and there I got a good bit of comments, but only by a couple people. Thank you very much for joining me. And thank you very much for those comments and interactions, or the likes and donations, gifts on TikTok. That was very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm tired. And I'm sure you are too. Thank you very much for joining me. And I'll see you in another video later on.